All right, so here we are, Pittsburgh week. We had some great meetings today. We had a day off yesterday, so we had great meetings this morning. Talked about the game, talked about the fundamental improvement that we're looking for across the board, and like also just making sure the guys are excited about what we're doing and what we're building with all the opportunities we've had since the Cleveland joint practice and the preparation that went into that, and then the games. And then just a great week last week, a couple practices, go on the road, spend time together, a hotter joint practice, which was fantastic work. We needed that to go into the game and to really just be able to learn from some stuff. And again, I kind of said this, right after the game, like there were some almosts. Well, that almost is not going to be good enough in the NFL. And so I was able to just speak truthfully and just to coach them hard, which they want. They want to be upheld to that standard. And so it was a great day, and then we had to shift gears, get ready for this practice today. We were in a little bit of a modified mode. Just, we had probably, I want to say we had 10 or 12 guys that were, close to 50 reps on the day between special teams and the offense defense reps. So we kind of just backed off a little bit today, had a good individual period, but just getting our legs back. We'll get after it again tomorrow. I just know how important these opportunities are for guys who are trying to make this team, not just the games, but our practices. Practice is everything to us. And so to have a high-intensity practice tomorrow to evaluate our guys one more time before we go into that last game is really critical.
Dave, can we get some injury updates? Yeah. JC was practicing. Did he get his stitches out?
He did. Yep.
Claude and Charles, Chandler Zavala participated. Are they good to go for Thursday?
Yes, they should be. Yeah. Now, today wasn't a super high intensity practice, so we'll push them tomorrow, and then we'll have more information tomorrow evening after we kind of get through all that to see where they're at. But if they come out and they check the boxes, and those are guys that'll play.
And then, boom.
And then questions right there. So that's the future, guys. You just, what should I ask Coach? Okay.
Updates on Bobby Brown wasn't out there, and DJ Johnson, and then what's the latest on Nick Gordon?
Yeah, Bobby's got a sore knee. DJ's got a sore hip. Both guys are being treated, and just weren't going to be able to turn it around and get individual, which was kind of the point of the practice, to get a high-speed individual. So we shut them down in hopes to get them back for practice tomorrow. And then who else was?
What's the latest on?
Yeah, so Nick, huge improvement. Got to drive across country from, well, not all the way across country, but from Houston back here. But significant improvement. He was actually running today. They were monitoring really closely, checking his oxygen levels. Everything is like huge improvements. That guy's 20 years old, so he bounced back pretty quick. He will not play this week, but the hope is to just continue to just progress him daily and get him more and more work.
T-Mac did not participate?
Yeah, T-Mac had a really sore hamstring. Imaging looked fine, but he's just kind of all stoved up. He's been taking a lot of reps, a few series more than the rest of the starters, just to get him that game reps. And just between that, the practices, he's been working like crazy. We just thought we'd, shut him down for a couple of days and turn him back around. He may not play on Thursday.
Coach, can you give an update on O'Brien Ray, his health status? And
yeah.
Can you speak to the defensive line's depth?
Yeah, so LB is going to be week to week. He's not responded as quickly as we'd hoped with that ankle, and so we'll push him again tomorrow, kind of see if we can get him back to play on Thursday. But a little bit slower than we anticipated, which these things can kind of happen with the ankle. All that soreness and discomfort and the strength and stability is the most important part. So we didn't feel like he turned around as quick as we thought. Who else were you asking about?
I was just wondering about the defensive line depth.
Yeah, definitely right now for this stage of camp, like concerning, but we had a couple of studs that carried us through with Jaden Crumity, Sam Roberts, Jared Harrison Hunt, and Shai even was available at the end. They played a lot of snaps for us the last game to get us through it. So love that about the guys. And they love the work, they all want the work. They improved in games with young guys, especially, you can see the improvement from drive to drive with techniques and all that. So these are guys that are going to have to carry us again this week,
Dave, if the pass protection had been a little better in that second series, might Bryce have played a third series?
It had nothing to do with that. I just felt so good about the work we got in the joint practice, the volume of work that we got for that group. I was really hoping we could have continued that second drive and try to, achieve the goal of getting them more plays. But I just felt really good about the work that we had, and then I thought the protection was really solid. It was a double move and he got hit on. So it's a pump, reset. Daniil Hunter had a great rush on Yash on that one, got his hand up, and Andy tried to get it off as quickly as possible, had T-Mac available, on the play. But I think they kind of settled in and blocked really well the rest of that drive if you look at it. So I was really pleased with that group. And then the third group, of course, Brady and Yash were still in there in that until Mike Tarkin came in. But I thought they did a great job with the pass pro.
The additional imaging, would Andy be able to play if this was like a regular?
Yeah, so it was really more of a muscle type of thing, and it was a mild deal. I think I said elbow sprain, but it was more of a muscle strain. But the imaging looked pretty solid, and we just kind of are taking him day to day for the soreness to kind of resolve itself. So he started the practice through a little bit, then we shut him down for the rest of it.
You said you were really happy about what went down in the Browns during practice, Texans during practice, and all that stuff, and that the starters are not going to play. And then you brought up the fundamentals. How do you think you can hone those fundamentals behind the scenes? Maybe a casual fan wouldn't understand.
Practice is everything. That's what we preach to the guys. We practice full speed, all but tackling. When we're in our thud tempo, like I want them hitting so that you show me you made the tackle. So we're getting the physical work. Iron sharpens iron. We got good players on both sides, and that's a great place to challenge it. The move the ball periods that we do in practice is another way. I'm asking our officials to really, really officiate it hard. With is the tackle too far back? Are two guys moving? Like, let's make sure I need a flag on the ground. George Lee keeps track of all that stuff so I can talk to the guys and address it. I don't think this is anything that's different than what a lot of teams are experiencing right now, but it's not our standard. So coach it hard, and it just gives me an opportunity to really, be nitpicky about the things that I know are going to be critical when we go into regular season play and all that.
You mentioned the other day that Derek was basically begging you to play and to play more. He's always been a high-volume snaps guy. With as deep as you are at that position now, is the goal to have him up on the field a little less this year?
I think it's going to be just kind of playing it by ear. He's a great player, so we'd love to have him out there the whole time. We'll see how he responds as we continue to push his volume, and then we'll have to kind of just make that decision like week to week in terms of how much he plays and how we're rotating that group. But it is a deep group, and we love all those guys. There's veteran guys, there's young guys that can help as well. So we'll kind of see as we go.
Early assessment on Bryce Perkins.
Oh, yeah, accurate. He came in today. Really excited to get him in here, the UFL MVP. He's earned this opportunity, and just going into the Steelers game, if Andy can't turn it around and get the soreness out and we don't have to play him, then Jack and Bryce can play that game for us. And so it's all hands on deck. Mike Berkovici's he's about a foot away from Bryce, the whole day today as he came in. And so it's great to just be able to reward somebody who's gone to another league, played so well, but also spent 3 years with the Rams. So there is some carryover. Some of the words are familiar to him, but it's kind of a marriage of a couple of two different systems. But football's football, and he's played a lot of it. He's played significant snaps, and so I'm excited for him to be here.
Preference be to not play Andy?
Probably, yeah. But again, if he turns it around and he's like, shoot, I want to go out there for a couple series, then that's something we can talk about. But I'd love to give Jack another opportunity, take those snaps and then see what Bryce can do.
Was part of the logic of Perkins that he had played in the spring league and was in football shape, having not been in a camp? Like, you could have signed other guys that were not in camp before.
Yeah, and I think it's just relationships and people that Dan talked to, and we had a conversation on the plane, like, here's the guys who are available, and knowing that he has some experience, in our run game, in our pass game, parts of it, it's just a really cool fit right now.
Hey, I know you like what you saw in the joint practices, but one reason you wanted to play the starters in the preseason games was to kind of get a better feel going into the game.
Yeah.
So what did you really glean from the experience of having them in at least from the starters?
Yeah, honestly, it starts the night before, and it's about going through your call sheet one more time. It's about making sure you have all your reads right and make sure you have all your adjustments right. Waking up, what time do you get up for a noon kick, and start to prepare yourself. What do you eat for breakfast? All the little things when you come into the locker room. How do you get yourself prepared? Do you work with the trainers? Do you get a little extra soft tissue work? You know, just having all those checkpoints. I think when you have a group like this week, the starters won't play, and I'll be watching to kind of see, like, you'll see the routines change. Taking advantage of 2 opportunities for guys to go through their routines and be ready for it is valuable. Is I wouldn't say more valuable than getting out there on the field, but it is very valuable for your mental preparation.
So what did you glean specifically from Bryce that you feel like he's better prepared to start this season than maybe last year?
In general, he's just done a great job leading the team, pushing the schemes forward. And, you know, if we get a couple of third down conversions, we extend the drives, we can get more into the calls. I would have loved to have another red zone shot, you know, to kind of just polish off some of those things. But I feel confident. I feel very confident about how we've loaded our guys, the exposure to different situations throughout our practices, in particular the joint practices, but in general on training camp.
Chris Barnes came in the middle of training camp and seemed to make a couple of plays last week. What have you seen from him, and what do you look for, like, as you guys close out the preseason with a guy like that?
Yeah, really good demeanor. You know, he's a guy who's called this defense before. They're very similar to what he's done before, but there are nuances. So those are kind of things that we're still working through. But I think just being able to stand in front of the huddle, communicate it well, and then just running and hitting, playing physical type of football, and was very usable on special teams as well. So I'm glad he had the opportunity to come here. I'm glad we had him here to just be able to evaluate him.
We'll
do a couple more questions.
Will both kickers get action Thursday if possible?
Yes, they will.
Last one from Jeff.
Yeah, with Nick out, is this a chance for DJ Johnson to step up?
I think DJ's been doing a great job. So he'll be out there playing, hopefully, if we can get this hip turned around quickly. But it's opportunities for all the guys. You know, it's Carlos, Boogie Basham, you know, Thomas Incoom, another opportunity there, J.J. Weaver. Certainly these are guys that, you know, want to have those reps, want to be able to put things on film and show us what they can do, but also show the other 31 teams that they can contribute. All right. Thank you.
Rico.
Hey Rico, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good. Talked to Trevor the other day, and he talked about your communication at kick returner. How do you guys communicate when the ball's in the air and deciding on who to go after the ball?
So it's scheme wise and then kick direction wise. So the ball going to his side, you just hold out his hand. They know he's sending the signal to the guys up front, telling them who to block and things like that. So it's all scheme wise. And if it's coming to my side, I just hold my left arm out. And the people up front know it's coming to me.
Does playing running back help you as a kick returner, being able to see vision wise and cut?
I think it helps a lot, honestly, because like you said, it's in and out, small holes, small creases you got to get through. So definitely, I think vision plays a part to being effective on the kickoff return. So two running backs back there, I think it will be excel on kickoff return for sure.
You felt you've done so far in your preseason work?
All right. I mean, I haven't been able to get much going, so just all right, honestly. But coming to the rest of the season.
What are your impressions of this offense in general from what you've seen here at Alton training camp?
That we got a lot of playmakers, honestly, all over the place. We stacked in the receiving group, stacked in the running back room. We got Bryce out there, and we got great tight ends. We're going to get Tommy back. JT had a great training camp. So, honestly, that's what I see. A lot of playmakers, so we definitely can have a dangerous offense for sure.
There was a recent poll that ranked the running back room, I think, 28th in the NFL. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that people are sleeping on this
Oh, for
room?
sure. They definitely sleeping, but, that's an opinion. Honestly, I don't really get caught up too much in it. Only time will tell, and we'll see when the season starts.
Like, no.
Talk about it at all.
You just done all right. What would good look like in your mind?
Getting some explosives. I mean, I had a couple good catches. That was it. But I'm talking about as far as the running game wise, I hadn't really got much going. But, so good to look like having some explosives, moving the chains, getting some first downs and things like that.
How do you feel that you and Chuba complement each other, kind of from a change of pace perspective?
I honestly think with the way our offense ran, we got similar running styles. Honestly, physical downhill runners and things like that. But can't say too much. We'll be out there during the season and things like that. But I think we complement each other well. When he go in, when I go in, I think it's no drop off in the offense. So that's one thing that's gonna help us. And then defense got to stop it all 4 quarters. So.
How's just the talent and the offensive scheme and everything you've got now compared to what you've had in the past in the NFL?
I played in Dallas with a lot of explosive people as well, with Dak, CD, and Turpin, and Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and so I mean, pretty much talent-wise and things, like we got it here too. We just as explosive as I was only in Dallas, so for 5 years, just as explosive as them. We got T-Mac and Xavier and Hunter Winfro, Adam Thielen, D-Mo. So we explosive. So, and then we got running backs as well that can go in. So I think we're gonna be top tier for sure.
In that same vein, coming from Dallas's offensive line to the Panthers' offensive line that has had 2 years of consistency, what have you seen from the Panthers' offensive line that is kind of similar to what you saw in Dallas?
That was one of the reasons that I came here. Just watching the O-line, they heavily invested in it, and like you said, those guys have been consistent. And Chuba was able to come off his best season, and me as well in Dallas. But those guys up front work hard and get the job done. So get D-Lou back out there, and you got Rob and Timo and all those guys there. So they've been able to get those O's opened up, and it's a similar scheme that I was in Dallas, outside zone, mid zone type run scheme. So everything pretty much similar for me.
So you're not too worried that the Panthers have only scored 1 touchdown in 2 preseason games?
Oh, no, not at all. It's the preseason. The games didn't go the way we wanted them to go. Obviously, we want to go out there and, like I said, get some points and move the chains and things like that, but we haven't been able to in those 2 preseasons and the limited reps that we got. But I think we put in great work in the scrimmages and in the practices against each other, and I think it all pay off at the end. So.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Rico.
Appreciate it.
Anxious to get in the game, just get some of the contact. How'd it go?
Good. I was just definitely anxious, especially coming back from camp. As soon as I got back, got through a oblique injury. Knees been good. And, I think a big thing for me was just making it through a whole week and traveling with the team Wednesday, practicing Thursday, doing the walkthroughs and everything, and then just being able to finish out the week in the game. So I think that was a great thing. Definitely had to try to convince all the coaching staff to let me out there, but it was cool.
That you kind of even begged him at a point. What did that conversation look like?
I think it was a lot of pestering all week leading up to that. I definitely sat on the sideline and a high anticipation the week before for the Cleveland game and didn't practice. So, to get back out there was awesome.
How tough has it been just to be patient and just to wait for that week?
It's been a long 9 months to say the least. So just you know, just to know what it took to get back to this point, and then being able to just, you know, enjoy the moment.
I got to enjoy it for 3 plays. Your persuasion wasn't as good as you hoped, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little teaser out there, but, you know, I'll take what I can get.
When y'all saw or found out about Scorton and what happened to him?
So, you know, everybody thought he cramped. And, you know, we found out kind of like later on in the locker room. So, you know, we found out he was already headed back to Charlotte at that point. So, I mean, you know, just definitely, you know, reach out, see how he's doing.
Dave talks about wanting to get you guys prepared from like a routine standpoint of like going to sleep, knowing you're going to play, all that stuff. How much does that factor into the mental side of the game on game days?
I think for me a lot. Like I kind of like being in the same routine leading up to the game. You know, I feel like I have an away routine and a home routine, and just being able to, you know, kind of phase into the night and go to bed, or you know, sit up and watch TV and just kind of turn the phone off at a certain time, and you know, kind of get ready for that Sunday morning. You know, that's all I really care about, to be honest. So, you know, call and say goodnight to my family, and then you know, I'm sitting there. I might watch TV for a little while. I might go to bed, and then you know, get ready. My mind's fully focused on Sunday.
Somebody that is so locked in on a routine like that last year must have been to lose that routine. How tough was that for you?
It sucked. To be honest, it did. It was awful. You know, I had to watch the games at home at first until I could start walking again, and that was awful. Spent a lot of time yelling at my TV, but other than that, you know, it was great. I think I just truly take everything from that adversity of, you know, the injury last year, and you know, it just makes me appreciate the game so much more.
You've always taken a lot of pride in playing a lot of snaps, high percentage. How hard is it being managed on your way back, knowing that's what you want to do?
It's very hard, you know, especially coming back into it, you know, kind of just having to, you know, have a certain percentage going into the days. I mean, it's been really hard. You know, I always want to just push myself to, you know, where practice is so hard that, you know, I'm about to pass out. So, you know, that's one of those things where, you know, I think I've learned to just, you know, right now in this moment, I mean, they haven't steered me straight. So, I mean, I'm going to keep following the plan, and, you know, we're going to go from there. Definitely pushing myself right now to get back in shape and be able to get ready to go. And, you know, it's been I don't know, man. I just think it's crazy, you know, to go from being 9-10 weeks now non-weight bearing, and then trying to walk again, and then getting to the point you can run, and then starting to build your stamina up. I mean, it was tough.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, is there less pressure on you to play those high workloads like you have in the past based on the guys they brought in this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I always want to be on the field, though, you know. That's how you hang around for a little while in the league. So I always want to be on the field, but, you know, it's going to be up to the coaches. You know, I think there's a plan in place right now. So, you know, I'll play as much as hopefully it's a 3-quarter plan. And, you know, if the game's on the line in the fourth quarter, they kind of let me burn up a little bit. So we'll see.
We know about the physical component, but there's also a mental component from coming back from that kind of injury. How have you kind of overcome that maybe the mental trepidation that comes with that?
I think I kind of passed that in the summer, just reloading that leg, constantly putting, you know, weight into it. I think, you know, when I came back on the first day of practice, and I was going against Damien, and, you know, kind of moved a little bit, but then I, like, put the leg in the ground, and I was like, it works. So, you know, that was kind of one of those moments where I was like, all right, I'm good. So I haven't thought about it since.
I know you Auburn guys stick together. What did you think of Auburn retiring Cam Newton's number today?
I thought that was awesome. You know, Cam's one season. Everybody says it's just one season, but, man, it was a legendary one, especially one down in the Plains. I know how the school, you know, definitely has, you know, cherished the moments that he made and led the school to. So, you know, I'm ready to celebrate that with him.
Derek, you mentioned watching the game from the sideline and at home. A'Shawn Robinson took on kind of like the brunt of the heavy snaps last year, and he's stepped up as a leader. What have you seen from him in the locker room, and what is he like as a teammate?
You know, we always mess with him because he's the old guy in the locker room. He's 30 plus, so, you know, he's one of those guys that, you know, he's like, man, you know, every single day he's getting work done and all this stuff. And, you know, like I told him the other day, I'm like, Aaron, like, I understand now. Like, it's been a fight to get back. And he's like, I told you. So, you know, just I think having his, you know, I would say, like, experience to be able to share with us, I mean, it's been great. So having him in the room, you know, asking him questions, doing all this, you know, extra stuff, I mean, it's just great. He laughs and jokes with us. So, I mean, it's awesome.
So you said you wanted to get out there. What was it you were wanting to most see? Like, did you want to go through the process of getting ready and getting on the game? Did you need to get a hit out of the way? Like, what were you looking to get out of Saturday?
I think just finishing the week and being with the team, being able to go out there and at least start the game with the team, go through warm-ups and, get back in the flow of things. Because, I think we 2 weeks from Jacksonville, 2 or 3 weeks. So, that was, the last opportunity we'll get to play. So, this week coming up, Pitt, and then it's on to the, what counts. So, I think that was just what I was looking for. I wanted a full week to be able to just put my body through it and then be able to go out there and, still be able to execute. So.
As a leader on the team, one of the ways you've always been able to impact the chemistry of your unit has been with your play. With the reduced play right now, what have you been doing to help to influence that chemistry? Because as you build the group.
I wouldn't even say I think the reduced play came from the oblique injury, but I've been back in. I spent a lot of time in practice on last week. That's Thursday, so. Definitely tested my heart rate out that day. So, I think for me, it's just learning the guys around me, right? So being able to affect them, sometimes I take crazy shots and, they save me. Sometimes they take a shot and I got to save them. And, just being able to have that chemistry from when the ball turns over. I think that's been a huge part of the success that I've been able to have. So, to be able to get that down and then be able to, sit in the film room with those guys and watch what's going on, watch it live. I think that's a huge part of it. That chemistry is literally the only thing that leads to the success of any of us.
Thank you very much, Derek.
Thank you.
Where's your finger at? Scooter?